So today we're gonna make another video on a product. I haven't really done a product review in quite a while. I really don't know what the last one was. I'm guessing it was my light for this tank. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's definitely been months and months since I've even reviewed a product. So after today, I'll use one that I've had for probably a couple months now, and I've been using it, especially with this new tank. And for the old tank, it's been quite useful for that one too. But we're going to talk about API product, and that's going to be AlgaeFix. I've had many API products, AlgaClear, which is a very good one. I used to use that literally every water change. I kind of stopped using it though just because I just stopped dosing a lot of chemicals in general. All I worried about was the prime and some, stuff like stability. Those are the only two I really worried about, so I kind of didn't want to because it's not always the best thing when you're just putting all these chemicals in your aquarium. There's some that are good, and there's some that's especially when you get all these combinations. Say if I was doing a water change and then I add prime, and then I add stability, and then I add AlgaeFix, and then I add Excel. It's like you're adding so much stuff at one time. It's just crazy, and it can cause more problems. So you can do all that stuff, just kind of separate out. Do it different days. I just kind of stopped dosing a lot of chemicals, really. But this one day I'm going to talk about AlgaeFix. Obviously in a plant tank you're going to get algae. I mean, you're going to have especially have a high tank, high tech, and have really high light most of the time when you have a high tech, and that's going to cause algae. Now at first I didn't, but obviously over time I really expected it. If you come up to the surface, you can see a little bit. You see the light brown, not light brown, but light green. And then right here, it's really noticeable. You can see all that on top. The Nubius looks really good from the top. And you come down here and it has like stuff all over it, but a little bit. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how well you're gonna. Yeah, see that little patch of green. There's just a little bit of algae buildup. There's probably a little bit of brown algae on all this stuff too. All the brown on especially these rocks. This is just still dirt that's on the rock. It's mostly from the ADA getting kicked up and it covers the rock. I haven't really just fully cleaned off the rocks yet, because if I cleaned off this rock, it'd be like pure white. And this is supposed to be serious stone, so I don't know why it was ever white like this. It's supposed to look like this one, but there's something weird about that rock. I don't even know if it's serious stone or not, but it goes good with the scape, so I'm not complaining. But it is weird that it's white, because you see a little bit of gray, but then like the whole actual base of the rock is white. So a little off topic, but I don't know why. But AlgaeFix, I think it's one of the better, algae options, or at least chemical wise, out there. I've used probably a good amount, and none of them really compare. It's just API. I mean, they don't have. I think the best thing they have is, their chemical side. I mostly use C-Chem. Also, you open up this drawer, this is all just C-Chem. And obviously their test kits are really good. But their chemicals have always done pretty well for me. And AlgaeFix, so obviously you read the instructions. I think it's like 1 milliliter per 10 gallons. And you dose that, and that's not the only dose you do. That's what some people miss, is you need to dose, every 3 days, or that's at least what it recommends. Repeat dose every 3 days until algae is controlled. Okay, so after you dose it every 3 days, just keep dosing it until the algae is gone. But the algae just won't disappear. That's the thing. Most people think like, why ain't the algae gone? Well, it'll kill the algae, but you kind of have to put it in maintenance yourself, because after it kills the algae, it's still gonna appear on there, but it's gonna be dead algae. So you just need to go in there and scrub it all off. And right now, this algae's probably dead. I haven't got in there with like a toothbrush or something and just scrubbed it off. I'm just being kind of lazy with this tank. I really haven't been. I'm about to do a water change probably today on it, for like the first time or the second time. But I've just really been letting it cycle and just sit here and kind of establish itself. But it's established now. The stock is coming, should be this week. I've been waiting for like a month and a half now for it, so should be here. But so when I dose it, it seems like it almost works instantly to me, because usually I can scrub off the algae pretty easily after I use it. But I would say after you use it, about a week is when you'll really see some differences, and it definitely controls a lot of different algae. Like I don't know if it's necessarily algae on this. I think it's just from stuff on the filters that got onto the substrate. But this looks like a little bit of hair algae on the on the surfaces. It'll clear up all the. That's the thing. People don't know what type of algae this clears up. This clears up about any algae. Some of the more weird and exotic ones, I don't know all about that, but most of the common ones, green spot, brown algae, your classic just green algae like I showed you, hair algae, black hair algae, just stuff like that. I know there's some weird, different rare algae out there that people randomly get. I don't know if this will necessarily get rid of that, but you could definitely try it, I guess, if you had no other option. If you have a plant tank, you don't have to worry. It won't destroy any of your fish or plants. It's plant safe, so that's a big plus for me. But other than that, I mean, there's not really I could say about this. Don't overdose this. That's kind of obvious, but you probably don't want to be overdosing this. That'll probably cause. I don't think it would do much, but just don't be dumb and dump a lot in here. Just do what it recommends, and you should be fine. One thing it does say on the bottle that I didn't realize, it says do not use with freshwater shrimp and like crabs and lobsters. So if you have shrimp, and that probably kind of sucks, because you probably have a plant tank. You probably have shrimp in a plant tank, and if you're using this for a plant tank, then you're kind of off limits with that. So shrimp are very finicky with a lot of chemicals, so I mean you kind of should expect that going into it. But other than that, I mean that's AlgaeFix. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the comments. But that's all I gotta say about it. It works good. It works fast. Simple. If you got simple green spot algae or just any common algae, it works pretty good. I had green spot algae in this 40 gallon, and usually it's really hard to come off. Obviously, if you get it on your plants, it ain't coming off, just to tell you that. But on the glass, how sometimes it's really hard to scrape off. When you dose AlgaeFix, it actually becomes easier to scrape it off because it becomes dead algae. So that's kind of a tip right there. But obviously the main thing is once you dose, after a week, you need to go in and actually scrub the algae off yourself. And after that, you'd probably want to dose this probably weekly just so it controls the algae altogether. But me, if algae comes by, I'm just going to dose it, get rid of it, and I'm not going to really think of to dose it every week. I mean, I'm going to forget, but it's good to have just to sit around it. Whenever you have algae up here, you just throw it in there. But yeah, that's AlgaeFix. Just a little update on the Panaria worms. Obviously there's still a bunch. I mean, that is all Panaria worms. Like, no joke. Like, look how many there is. But right now it's not bothering me. It's just because I haven't been doing water changes, so that's kind of the outcome. But once I get the stock in here and I'm actually doing weekly 50% water changes, then that will change. You won't see these worms no more. It's just right now, me cycling in tank and not like doing anything with this tank. It's just what it got, what stuttering. It's just what it is. When you start any plant tank, it's never pretty. It's kind of an overtime type thing. But other than that, that's about it. The plants are going good. You can obviously see that the root before obviously if you go back, you could tell that they're spreading out, like they're all the plants are really getting widened. They're sending out runners. Like this one's probably the best example. Look at that one right there. Got all kinds of new growth sticking out. This one's like half buried, but this one's really good. You can see there's a lot, half it's covered up, but this one's growing really big. This one's really good. So we're gonna start having a really nice carpet. I thought 2 cups of it wasn't gonna be enough, or at least 1 cup wouldn't be enough, but 1 cup of Monte Carlo worked pretty good. We can always add more though, but I think I'll make another video on the plans I want to do with the rest of this tank, you know, plant wise, but I'll stop talking so this video's not 2 hours long. But you know, comment, like, subscribe if you've got a plant to recommend in the comments for a video, or a fish. I'm definitely doing those. I totally forgot about the fish, so I'll get to all your guys' recommendations and give you guys all shout outs. But other than that, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.